Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Miss Camay Show. I am your host, Miss Camay, and I am super excited about my interview today. This is my first pageant interview in a very long time. I'm so excited, so grateful, and honored to have the exclusive interview, mind you. You know, Miss Camay always likes to get the content first, right? So my interview today is with the reigning Ms. Plus Intercontinental with the Miss Plus World Pageant, Dr. Jennifer Jackson.
Oh wow! Oh wow! I'm
Welcome
excited.
to the show. You know, I just have to say,
Woo-hoo.
right? When I was hosting on the pageant on Friday night, for those of you who know, I was crowning my successor this year at the Miss Plus World Pageant, and I hosted the preliminary competition on Friday. And I, went around the room and made sure that I had the pronunciation of everybody's name. And when I got to your name, they just had you listed as Jennifer Jackson. And so I said your name, and then you're like, Dr. Jennifer Jackson. And so, right. And so I remembered, when I was hosting, for some reason, I always was introducing you on stage in competition. And that's exactly how I introduced you, is how I introduced you just right now on the show. It was so great. I was so excited to see you compete. You did a wonderful job. I'm so excited for you to represent this pageant system for the next year and work with your other sister queens. I know you guys have a lot of things, going on and a lot of travel planned. And I'm super excited to witness it all. And thank you so much. So for those people who are watching who don't know anything about pageantry or anything about you and your titles, give our audience a little bit of information about Dr. Jennifer Jackson.
Oh wow! I was listening to some of the things you were sharing, and I was like, "Who is she talking about?" Some things we do is because we generally feel an unction to do it, and I found that a lot of those things I feel is a call, and I have to say I'm truly blessed. So it would be remiss for me to not give honor to God and to thank you for this opportunity to come on, because I absolutely know that I have been led to this opportunity, and all things that I've done before this help to position me properly to even open my mouth and say anything. So I honor all the pageants and all the directors and those who led to this. So I am, as she said, Dr. Jennifer Jackson. I hail from the Piney Woods of East Texas. I was born and raised in Longview, Texas, and I currently live in Tyler, Texas, which is a good about 45 minutes away from Longview. For those who don't know, we are in the Piney Woods, so the northeast corner of Texas, and I live and practice here and do a number of things, but I have been blessed to do a number of things across the world, and so now I feel I have something to say that's relevant, something to say to other women to help bring them to where their dreams are leading them. And it's led me to the Miss Plus World system. There are two amazing directors, owners named Nanette Watts and Custis Zahner, that really, when you hear them and you get to meet them, you want to tap into anything that they're doing. And that's really what got me. We call her affectionately Mama Net, now I call Constance Mama Constance, and that's just sharing a term of endearment that we revere them with. Nanette Watts met me when I was in the Miss Black USA, then Miss Black Co-Ed pageant, and it was really a eye-opener to pageantry to me in 2014 that led me to do that, and I found that was not the system for me. And I got in it and completely bombed, and I had promised myself I will never do something like that again. And a year and a half later, I got a crazy call from Mama Nanette's assistant named James Polk, and he shared Jennifer. Nanette Watts had remembered you, and she wanted to know if you were interested in a pageant. I was like, no. No. And he talked to me for a little bit longer, and then Nanette called me, and we were talking about some things, and she said, why don't you just give it a try? And the new system called American Elegance. And I did, and I got the state title. Then I went on to Chicago and competed in their national title, and I won. the National American Elegance Woman title. The next year I got the international title, which doing those pageants really opened my eyes to professional pageantry, where women legitimately have a platform that they represent, and you work to serve in your community. It's more than just getting a title. People get it confused with doing something to pump your ego. You seriously take on a platform or something that you're passionate about, and you serve. And I found the beauty of servant leadership and doing that in your community. There is still a need for women to see beauty in action. It's more than to say that you are a pretty face. I've coined the term, you're cute and what? So for giving women a platform to really show what it means to be more than a mother, sister, cousin, someone who goes home and works, and you have to have a little bit more depth than that. So I wanted to live, and pageantry has given me an opportunity to really work in my community for people to see someone. I feel that if you wear a title, if you do not work that title, you become a target. And it gave me the opportunity to work my platform, Camay. And so I think it led to conversations like this where we can really get out there and build other women. I went from the American Elegance pageant, and I went on to compete in the All World Beauties pageant, and I won that national title. Bless God for Andrea Sledge. And then I was named as a lifetime queen for the ambassador, and which I believe really helped to build me, because the Miss Plus World pageant, you just can't go and say, I'm going to go compete. Either you're going to come and be a part, or you're going to come and compete. And this degree of pageantry, it's on another level, and you really have to be ready for that as far as who you are and how you present yourself, because it goes by so quickly. And if you are not polished, you're really just donating some funds, and I didn't have time for that. And so I really wanted to make sure that I came and brought it, and I had fierce competitors who were very beautiful, very passionate about their own respective platforms. And I'm really blessed to be able to sit here and say I am Miss Plus Intercontinental 2019. I'm still kind of, in a blur behind all of this, because I am a mother, I'm a sister, I'm a pharmacist, I'm a professor in my environment here in Tyler. I work at Texas College and I teach biology. My students have a love-hate relationship for me. And I am that professor. And I'm a pastor at my church, where my husband serves as bishop over our covenant churches of Toda. So I literally stand on a lot of shoulders, Camay. I did not get here by myself. So I represent a number of people who really helped push me forward and push me upward, and who blessed me to do what I do. So if that's a little bit into the world of Dr. J, that's what they call me. I have to say, I'm really blessed. I went to Prairie View A&M for my undergrad degree in biology, minor in chemistry, and I got my doctorate at Hampton University in Virginia. So I had to come back home to work, and I absolutely love it. I'm a community pharmacist, and I serve my community in that regard. That's my passion and my profession. But I have to tell you, pageantry has given me a whole realm of opportunities in fashion and modeling and just being more of a woman for me. So I love this. I do.
Amazing testimony. It's so amazing. We're so blessed to have you. I'm getting teary-eyed and kind of just so touched by your message, because what I'm hearing is you are a community advocate already. You are involved in the lives of the people around you. You're passionate about improving your community, making a difference, pastoring to your community, teaching your community about God, and combining that all together. That's just who you are. And that is a pageant title holder. That is the definition of a title holder. Everything that you just described, your involvement, your family's involvement, because, as you're telling the story about your journey, your family has been on this journey with you.
Yes.
And yes. And you say, I don't know how long you've been married, but I'm recently engaged. and my fiance's first pageant experience, he did not think he was going to survive.
It's real. Yes.
Yes,
Real.
yes, yes. So, your family is involved and very passionate, in their community and supporting you and all the things that you do. So, tell us what titles have you actually competed for and
Oh
won?
boy.
Just go
I,
for me.
it would be the American Elegance woman title. And I won that. I was titled Texas American Elegance Woman, but I competed nationally against persons across the queens from all of the U.S. For the American Elegance Woman title. The following year, they took from the group of queens who were nationally reigning and selected me to represent the organization as an international queen, which was a huge honor, a huge honor. You had to do a number of appearances, a number of things, and a panel selected amongst the queens from that component to be the international reigning queen. And then the following year, I was selected as a duchess for their organization, which means it's an ambassador where you represent the organization, period. Following that, I competed for the All World Mrs. All World Beauties. I wanted to go and represent women first in my age group. I wanted to show women we still have it and we have something legitimate to say. The next group, I want to represent the married women because we cannot do what we do without our spouses, our mates, the persons we value. And we have to, I believe we have something legitimate to say for this is a real woman. For real. Today, you do not see me with lashes. You do not see me. Yes, I have a little bit of glam, low glam go on. And that's because I'm picking up children and I'm doing things, but we need to show women you can still be amazing without losing that aspect of your person. A lot of times people get married, Camay, and they think they got a low key that no, you don't. I think my value system is God honors marriage, one. And two, as a woman, we have to feel that way. And I wanted to compete and represent the married women. So I did with All World Beauties, and it was an amazing experience. And I won the All World Beauties Ms. title in 2017 through 2018. So after that, they selected me as a lifetime ambassador. This year, I'm still kind of 2019 has been glamazing, if I can tell you that. It has been amazing, awesome, wonderful. Being selected as a lifetime ambassador for an organization, normally it takes 7 years in most systems to get something near to that. And we were selected. I did about 80 appearances. Just to tell you, we were only expected to do 18. And I just believe in the organizations I partner my name with, I partner my energy with, and you can't help but to rock an organization that works to build and serve women. So those are the two main organizations that I competed with, which to me, as someone in her 40s, I'm 41, going back into pageantry to do this, I think that's just pretty daggone stellar. So I
yes, I agree.
that's something that I love. Yes, ma'am.
Congratulations. Congratulations. So well deserved, Dr. Jackson. So we had a couple of our audience members send in some questions for you.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
And so I want to ask you their questions. I'm going to start with Deborah Venters. Deborah, if you're watching, we're so grateful that you are engaging with us and that you would like to chat with the doctor herself. So Deborah's question to you is, you're a queen. How does it feel?
You know, I work not to be too wordy for things. I believe a queen is more than someone who wears a crown. We already are queens. Based on, I believe the Lord has caused us to do a certain work, but He has made us queens, and by simply by walking in the way of God, and He honors us. So how do I feel? Right now, to represent the Miss Plus World system, a system that represents style and grace and poise and service and embodying women with with tools and showing women that you can be amazing in your own way. I feel amazing to represent an entity globally. It's not just you to say globally works across the world to build women. It's more than I could have prayed for, if I can say that. It's something that I couldn't have prayed enough or asked enough. It's something I feel I've been called to do, and I'm really honored in that way. I feel humbled, and I'm very, very mindful of the position that I carry, and so I work to really remember that that it's more than me, and so that's what makes me smile quietly. I have a low key, like, like I think I'm beginning to get something. It still hasn't hit me yet, Camay. So I'm
Well,
like, there's something going on, and I'm tapping into it.
right. Well, it's always been interesting to me how women view themselves and how, what women's opinions of themselves. And we were, they forget that we were born royalty. We were born, to be kings and queens. We were born to walk in greatness. And, competing in a pageant and winning a crown, and becoming a queen is, like you said, something that you're called to do. It's something that's in your heart, it's in your soul, it's in your spirit. You were created as a queen. You were created to love people and serve in your community and make a difference and impact the world, right? So, I just want to point that out and really highlight that here in our interview is, especially for women who are watching now, women who will watch later, you were born a queen. You were born into royalty. You are a child of God. You were called to do the things that you were called to do. And women, what was that?
Didn't you find it amazing? I didn't want to stop your train of thought, but you had mentioned something about God, how amazing it is in this system that they foster people's belief systems. They do not dim down someone's beliefs.
Correct.
But they believe in giving honor. And
yes.
I'm sorry, I had to say that when you mentioned that. It's such a beautiful thing that they would revere and honor God in this, and they're not shy about that, nor do they discriminate on anybody's views or perspectives. But the fact that they would honor in that way, and that really allowed me to breathe, if I can say that, and relax and flow. When I got there, I felt so much love. There was so much love in the system. Even when I met you, the previous queen, Camay, there was when you walked in, I knew, the royalty that come in, and it's their essence, right? You cannot hide your essence. So when someone comes in and they smile and they're just really welcoming and pleasant, it's not anything fake, it was an essence that every queen had, and they were so beautiful in who they were. And I really honor that about you. When you came out, I was like, oh my God, number one, yes, she's cute. And yes, she is fly. Because she had on the outfit, I was like, that can come to Texas with me. But back to East Texas with me. But I had to pause and just honor you with that, because it was your essence, Camay, when you came in, that was notable. And I think there were many queens who I'm sure competed with you and did things, but when a judge can see that essence, that will really separate you from those who came to just be a part of the event. And I honor that about you.
Yes, so thank you. Thank you so much. Game recognizes game, right?
Iron sharpens iron. How about that?
That's right. I like that even better. Yes. So, another audience member, Shamiqua Johnson, she, you kind of touched on it all, already, but she wanted to know if you felt Jesus was with you through this entire journey.
I have to tell you, when I got to the pageant, number one, this whole thing from June, from May 30th to June 1st, May 29th to June 1st, I had to compete for my title. So I competed. Did I tell you you had asked me about the titles I competed for? I think I'm still in the blur. I competed for the U.S. title in May, and June 1st, I was titled Miss plus Intercontinental US. I cannot forget that. That is how I got to the international pageant. If you are in the US, you have to compete at the US plus world system.
Right.
That occurs at the end of
And
May.
so let's explain that.
Yes. You do not just show up.
Right, correct. So the Miss Plus World International Pageant is the umbrella pageant for Miss US Plus World.
Yes,
and so all of our countries' delegates who want to compete in the Miss Plus World pageant are required to compete in the preliminary national pageant, which is Miss US Plus World. So for those of you watching, if you're interested in joining the Miss Plus World sisterhood, we'll talk about requirements about that a little bit later. But you are required, if you are in the US, you are required to compete in Miss US Plus World and title and that pageant system to be able to go to the international Miss World pageant.
I do not know how in the blur of I think it's still coming together, Camay. You had to, so I won that pageant in May. And so you said, was Jesus with me? After June 1st, I was still trying to kind of get from all of the pageantry, they call it a pageantry hangover. No, I don't drink. But they call it that, and it really requires, because you invest a lot of energy to get on stage before a crowd of people and a specific panel of people looking for something that you've invested your time and energy to prepare for. When it takes a lot of energy out of me, I can say that specifically, because I invest a lot of devotion and time and direction and seeking to make sure I present myself in the best way. So when you end up winning, or either I've competed before and did not get the type of just certain titles before, but it requires some. So after June 1st, I had to wake up and say, you have a pageant coming in 2 months. And that means restructuring. And these are against women who won their respective pageants. So that means they're not just showing up. They're just not coming. These are women who are privy to pageantry. They have a country supporting them to represent. And I'm thinking, sweet Jesus, be with me. So yes. So when I came, Mama Constance Zahner, and she has a friend who came, and they led communion at the pageant, Camay, on the Thursday night before. Listen, if we could have ended the pageant on communion night, I would have been fine, because it was so phenomenal that there's no words like what that communion was. You literally knew that they had sought out for direction. They sought out to make sure everything was centered and honored and respected, that I was so impressed. I could have just walked off that day and said, Lord, everything else is cherries on top. Cherries. So that night, long story short, Constance Zahner mentioned a scripture called Isaiah 54:4. It was Isaiah 54:4. You shall not be ashamed. And there's a lot more to that. And so for some reason, that just stuck with me. And I knew that I was not going to be anything, whether I left with a crown or not, that I had came to serve a purpose, and I knew he was with me at that moment. And I hung on to that like a person with a life vest. And when I got on stage, it made me smile every time I got on there, saying, I wouldn't be ashamed, have fun, and just represent him as I went. And I did, and everything else is details.
Yes. Well, and I think people have such a misunderstanding about pageantry and competing in pageantry. And, women oftentimes, like in any other, situation in society, compare themselves to other women. And so I think that, women come into pageantry, along those lines, thinking that that's what the criteria is. And that absolutely is not what it is. Pageantry either inspires you to walk in your own greatness, or it teaches you to walk in your own greatness.
Ooh, that's powerful. Yes.
And it's not a very it's a hard curriculum. It's a very hard curriculum.
Nanette Watts talks about something called time and season. I'm not sure if you've heard her mention that. Have you heard her talk about time and season?
Yes, yes.
I've seen women who are absolutely gorgeous. They can strike a T, they can walk down an aisle, they can do whatever. But if it wasn't their time or their season, they were not going to get that title because it just wasn't meant for them in that moment. And a lot of people have a hard time grasping that because they'll go spend thousands of dollars for gowns and dresses and don't realize you're actually paying for an experience. And if it's not your time, it is not your season, then is legitimately what is the system looking for in that moment? And if that is not you in that moment, what the judges see, then you should be able to be honored to say, I was here. And like you shared, we're not there to compete against other women. It is a competition, but you're there really, I found, to, as you compete against yourself, to present yourself and leave with as much of that experience as possible, because I found I utilize more of the tools that I gained in pageantry outside of the walls of a stage or in front of judges every single day. Every single day.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. One day my fiance was, I think we were going somewhere. I think we were going out on a date or the movies or something. And he had on this button-up shirt and it had a thread hanging, you know, like a long thread hanging from the button or something. And so I was like, you know, pull off the thread. And he's like, oh, you know, whatever. And I'm like, no, we do not leave the house with threads hanging off our shirt. Like, no. And a few weeks after that, I think I put on something that had a thread hanging off of it, right? And he was like, what is this? Is this a thread on your shirt? He's like, we are royalty over here. We do not walk around with loose threads hanging off of our clothes. So when you say that it reveals the greatness within you, it reveals how you can polish yourself. You know, for me, pageantry, when I was recruited into pageantry, I thought, well, yeah, I can get up on stage and I can present myself well and I can, you know, be judged. I'm confident enough to do that. Yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah, you know, okay. And that absolutely is not what it was at all. Not even for one day. It was not getting up on stage and just being cute. You know, like you said, you're cute and what?
Yes.
So I mean, I could talk to you for an hour. I mean, we could very easily have a long interview. I know this isn't going to be our last interview together. Everyone around the country, everyone around the world is going to see us and our sister queens and our reigning queen impacting the world around us. We have travel planned. I'm so excited for what's to come. What I do want to do, both Shamiqua and Deborah, they were both asking you and asking us about our requirements. Shamiqua asked, can anyone enter? What's the criteria? And then Deborah was asking, how could she compete in the pageant? And so the participation requirements, you have to be a size 12 or larger. You must be born female. In order to compete in the Miss Plus World division of the pageant, you have to be between the ages of 20 and 39. You have to be over 40 and up to compete in the Miss Plus Intercontinental division of the pageant system. You may not be convicted of a felony, or you may not be a convicted felon. That's one of the requirements. You must be of good moral character, and you must have a Facebook page. Those are the participation requirements. Now, for your country eligibility, so for example, you were in the U.S., you competed in the Miss U.S. Plus World pageant. When I competed last year, I represented Europe because I was raised there. And so there are people who do live in our country, but who can represent a different country under these eligibility requirements. They have to be a citizen of the country that they're representing, or reside in the country or the continent that they're representing, be active military duty or have a spouse in the country that they're representing. If you hold a dual residency with the country that you're representing, a full-time student in the country, if you work a minimum of 20 hours a week in the country that you're representing, And last but not least, if your mother and or father are from the respective country. For those of you that are watching, you can find all of the requirement details. There's an application on the website. Go to MISS+PLUS.world, MISSplus.world. You'll see pictures of our newly crowned queens. You'll see pictures of our royalty there. You will see our executive staff, and not most importantly, but in addition, all of our sponsors with the Miss Plus World pageant. In closing, Jennifer, I want to thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for giving me the exclusive footage of your interview, and sharing your title and your pageant journey. I'm super, super excited for you. In closing, I do want to thank each and every sponsor of the Miss Plus World pageant. We could not put the pageant on without you. Our Queen's winning packages and our delegate gift bags when they come to the pageant, it's so meaningful to receive such abundance from our sponsors. So I thank each and every one of you. For those of you who are interested in sponsoring the Miss Plus World pageant, you can email me. I am the sponsorship liaison for MPW. I would love to send you a prosthetics. You can email me at misscamayinternational@gmail.com. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. This is Miss Camay, and you've been watching the Miss Camay Show exclusive interview with Dr. Jennifer Jackson, the reigning Ms. Plus Intercontinental with the Miss Plus World pageant. Bye, everybody.
Love you.
Love you too.